Epic Duel Time is brought to you by Merrimack Games and Comics. Check them out on Facebook and visit their site at merrimackgames.com. What's up YouTube, Evan from Epic Duel Time here. I'm doing a commentary on another Duel video for you guys. We have Jackson B on the left, piloting an Infernity deck, and Kenny on the right, playing Constellars. Fun fact, this is actually the first appearance of both of these decks on this channel. We'd never put up any Duel videos involving Infernities whatsoever before, and Constellars being a fairly new deck, we never really had a player at the locals who we could film for it. So and if we did, we just for some reason never ended up filming them. I don't know. So this is the first opportunity we've had, and I wish we'd done one sooner, to be honest. So Jackson opens up, setting 3 cards, summoning Stygian Street Patrol and monster gating it. He's milling Reborn, Upstart, Mind Drain, and then he summons another Stygian Street Patrol, which is actually pretty good because he has Archfiend in hand. So he banishes the Patrol for the Archfiend, and he's going to search off the Archfiend. So he's going to select Infernity Necromancer, and overlay the Archfiend and the Patrol. Detaching the Patrol to pitch an Archfiend. He then uses the Patrol, banishes it, summons Necromancer, uses Necromancer's effect to summon Archfiend, and then searches the barrier off Archfiend. This is going to be some fast commentating. Infernities are a fairly kind of watch them go kind of deck. It's not to say that the deck it certainly does require planning, and you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know the setups. But it is one of those decks that just has a long turn. So unfortunately, this video is definitely going to reflect that. Kenny summons Constellar Pollux, and his effect will allow him to summon an extra Constellar monster. So he summons Constellar Chaos. Chaos is the one that lets you bump up any monster or any Constellar monster by 1 level twice. The general play is that you go up by 1 on Chaos and up by 1 on the Pollux, and then you go into the Pleiades. And that's what he's contemplating right now. But he actually does something interesting, and I want to explain why he does this. Keep in mind, we know Jackson has an Infernity barrier. So Kenny, before he actually commits to any kind of an attack, lances the Archfiend. And because that's what he wants to attack over. The goal here is that he's going to try to kill that Archfiend. And through that, be able to go into a Pleiades. Because then there won't be a face-up attack position Infernity on the field. That's the goal. So before anyone says in the comments like how stupid this is to not do that during damage step, keep in mind that if he goes in damage steps and he goes to attack with that into a barrier, and the barrier negates the lance, he's losing his monster. So he attacks with the Pollux, and it gets compulsed. Then he attacks over the Archfiend, now at 1,000 attack, and with the Chaos, dealing 800. That was one of those plays that at first I didn't quite see it, and once I got it, I was like, oh, that makes way more sense. Jackson activates what I have to assume is a Call of the Haunted, but unfortunately it's off screen. And searches. For his turn, he draws. And I guess at this point, unfortunately, with the minimum board presence that Kenny has, it's going to be really hard to win, or even pull out some sort of a board. So he normal summons a Necromancer, and Kenny just scoops at that point. So for game 2, Again, once Infernity sets up the board, they're golden for the rest of the game, unless you have also, board-breaking combos that you can make, but it's tough. So, Kenny opens up and summons a Constellar Algiady, and Algiady it's kind of like Marauding Captain, where it lets him summon another monster out of his hand. It has to be a Constellar, so he picks Kaus. Kaus bumps up both monsters by 1, and overlays for Pleiades. People who don't know what Pleiades does, once per turn during either player's turn, he can bounce any card back to the opponent's hand. Back to the controller's hand. He can do his own too. So Kenny then sets 3 background and ends. Jackson activates an Upstart Goblin. He sits down 3 back row and goes to end turn. And Kenny uses Pleiades' effect to bounce one of Jackson's face down cards back to his hand. I'd have to assume it's really just to minimize the amount of cards that he's going to have to deal with on his own turn. Kenny then summons a Kaus, declaring an attack with the Kaus, dealing 18. And then Pleiades will push in for 2,500, bringing Jackson down to 3,700 life. And again, just like a lot of slower decks that generally are a little more control-based, like Constellars are, once they get their field, it's kind of hard to break them. You really have to reduce their monsters down. Jackson tries to reduce Pleiades' effectiveness by using a breakthrough skill to stop him from being able to keep doing that, or to at least bait his effect on the other back row. But Kenny has the Forbidden Lance, so even though reducing Pleiades' attack points, it's going to be hard to even try to attack him because he can just bounce you. And if Jackson ends, Kenny has enough monster attack point on board to just win. So Jackson sets cards, but Kenny bounces the monster. And on his own turn, Kenny activates Heavy Storm, destroying the 3 face-down cards, and ending the game to go to game 3. If you notice, 2 of those cards that Jackson had face-down were dead Infernity breaks. So, while Infernities are excellent and fairly consistent, especially with the new Judgment of the Light support coming out very, very soon, they still can draw that not so hot hand. Jackson starts his first turn with an Upstart Goblin. Following up with a Reinforcement of the Army to get a Dark Greffer. And he's going to use the Dark Greffer's effect to pitch Infernity Archfiend and Stygian Street Patrol, banishing the patrol, summoning the Necromancer, setting the rest of his cards in hand, using Necromancer's effect to summon the Archfiend, searching for the Archfiend to get another Necromancer. And this is where things get a little fast, so I'm going to try to speed up my commentary. He overlays the Greffer and the Archfiend for a Lavalval Chain, detaches the Archfiend for another patrol, uses the patrol, summons the Necromancer, uses the Necromancer, summons the Archfiend. Archfiend will get Launcher. He activates Launcher, but doesn't use its effect. He then summons a Levier with the Necromancers, gets back a patrol, summons the patrol, overlays the patrol with the Archfiend to summon Diamond Direwolf, uses the Wolf to pop Levier and the Wolf, Uses the Archfiend, the launcher to summon back both Necromancers. Uses one Necromancer to summon back an Archfiend. Get the search for an Archfiend. Banishes the patrol from the Diamond Direwolf to summon the other Archfiend in hand that he searched off of the other Archfiend. To get his third copy of Archfiend, overlays the two Necromancers into a Leviair, and then gets back the Stygian Street Patrol, overlays two Archfiends and a patrol for Shockmaster, declaring spells. Banishes a Stygian Street Patrol from the Shockmaster to summon the Archfiend in hand, searches off the Archfiend, and gets Barrier. This is a board you don't break. Just in short, this is a board you do not break. No, I hate to say it, most decks don't break this board. Spellbooks don't break this board, and I'd be very interested to see how much Dragons would need to commit to break this board. Again, if Jackson knew he was playing Dragons, then granted, that would involve Shockmaster just turning around and not and forbidding monster effects from there. So Kenny tries to summon a Pollux. It gets Solemn Warninged, and that really just means game. He doesn't really have anything else for it. Last video's pack giveaway winner was Joshua Higgins. If you want to have your chance to win a pack of Number Hunters and an Epic Duel Time deck box decal, there are 3 simple things you gotta do. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment with an answer to our question of the week. This week's question is, with the September Forbidden Limited list approaching quickly, what changes would you like to see included on it? As always, like, comment, subscribe, check out our sponsor, Merry Mac Games and Comics, and keep dueling, America.